So best nostalgia trip, our next category. These were the games that made us feel like kids again this year. Um, Whether it be, for using classic style graphics, throwing back to the pixely days, or just the gameplay engendering that sense of like childlike wonder in us again. These are the games that really made us remember and like go back to like, man, I should boot up the old Sega Genesis or PS1 or something and get just a fucking like a big ass cup of hot chocolate with like 3 shots of whiskey in it to help those childlike feelings come back. Just settle down with a bowl of cinnamon toast crunch. Fucking go to town on some goddamn X-Men Saturday morning cartoons. We're back, baby. Oh man. So yeah, best nostalgia trip. In bronze, in third place for me, A Hat in Time. The really truly charming action platformer, 3D platformer that came out this year from Gears for Breakfast, I think was the development studio. Total indie game funded by Kickstarter. And I'll admit it's a little rough around the edges, but it like the jump the important things are there. The jumping feels good. The world traversal, the levels are fun and they're colorful and exciting to run around in. Everything's there, and it's pretty much it's like another Banjo-Kazooie game or another Mario 64. It just feels so much like those games in like all the best ways that it can. Especially for being, such like an independent, small, production. Like
Right.
I still haven't finished it, partly because like I enjoy the game so much that I end up running around. I get immersed in the world a little bit, and rather than going straight to the final boss encounter, I've just been, like filling out that checklist, just getting stuff that I missed and looking for little collectibles and exploring the levels.
And
So yeah,
talking to all
Hat in
the
Time.
talking to all the crazy like a bobo looking things.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, in second place with silver, Mega Man Maker. Um, for just taking that good old fashioned Mega Man experience and bringing it back for like a minute, and then making crazy ass Kaizo levels and Happy Wheels esque shit and just utterly
Oh,
insane batshit levels of evil. Um, but still, like in a weird way, it made me feel like a kid again because I was bad at video games when I was a kid, and now I'm bad at Mega Maker, which is why Johnny plays it on our videos. Uh,
it's it. What I love so much about it is that he keeps it. It's constantly getting updated. Like the most recent update added the weird like stone drop move that you saw in the Mega Man 11 trailer, where you it
oh,
drops like 4 blocks
nice.
down.
Yeah.
So he added that, and there's oil surfing, and it keeps. There's a lot of glitches that I think could keep this thing from being one of the greatest things ever created, but it's still
Yeah.
so much fun. Like when I'm like I can't figure out what to play, and I don't feel like destroying my hand with Clone Hero, which I'll get to probably sometime in this broadcast.
Yeah.
Um, I'll just like, oh, let me find a couple levels, and I'll just play people's new levels, and you can tell right away when a level is just Happy Wheels, throw knife at 4-year-old, win levels. Um,
Yeah. But yeah,
good
like Mega
times.
Maker for what it is, it's really fun. It brought back that good old fashioned Mega Man feeling. It occasionally when people made fair levels.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just a good time. But number one, to I think I imagine nobody's surprise. The gold goes to Sonic Mania because fucking obviously.
Yeah.
That game is so goddamn good, and I will fight anyone who doesn't like it.
There's no reason no one should have to fight you on that. That was, I mean, that was like, that came out, we were like, Sonic is back, and then Sonic Forces came out, we were like, oh, that's right, you had to outsource to make a good game.
Let's pretend that other one didn't happen. Sonic Mania! Sonic! Oh! Sega CD! Yeah!
Yeah.
It's a good time. Fuck, it's just such a good ass Sonic game. And it does just the right amount of, like, adding new stuff without going way outside, like, the classic Sonic formula. It stands on its own. It's really fun to play. It remixes old levels in a really cool way. And it brings its own stuff to the table. And it's just fucking great, man. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's any game that, like, took me back, like, I'm a pretty big closet Sonic fan. I didn't buy Forces. I'm not that big of a Sonic fan. But getting a new Sonic game, getting a new Sonic game that was actually good, I was over the fucking moon about it. And it's got Donkey in it.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Best Easter egg ever.
Yeah.
Alright. So, I'm not making last minute changes to this list. Okay, I got my 3 now.
Yeah.
In third, this is gonna be a very polarizing opinion on my behalf because I actually truthfully enjoyed the hell out of the game, while a lot of people razz the daylights out of it. For my number 3 is sort of the opposite of A Hat in Time. I loved the shit out of Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah.
And I know it got razzed. It's not a perfect game by any means, and it does suffer from a lot of the same things that platformers back then. Like the camera keeps hitting the wall, you can't rotate, and I think it was just me that's lived through that era of platformers that it's like, oh, you just got to do this, you know how to fix it.
Just with like the reaction it got, I think people just they built up too many expectations for the game. Because there hadn't been, like, a good 3D platformer like that in a while. And, you know, having that pedigree of, like, oh, it's Rareware, essentially. Even though they never said, like, oh, we're going to make the best 3D platformer ever. They're just like, we're going to make another 3D platformer. And people just didn't take things the right way. Because it's a good game. Like, I messed around with it myself for a little while, and it's solid. It's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. Fuck the haters. Last Jedi was great. If you don't like the new Star Wars, you can suck a dick.
I thought Last Jedi was fucking awesome.
I loved it. And I will fight it. Anyone who like doesn't is a fucking turbo nerd. Needs to chill out.
Careful, don't say that. You'll get your segment canceled off an episode of Whatcast.
Oh no. I'm tired of hating things.
Yeah, it's taxing. It's really just it's hard.
Yeah, to be like, I need to get attention on the internet. Fucking, I can't do it anymore. Yeah, shitpost time. I can't. Anyway, sorry to derail.
That's totally fine. That's what we're here for. Man, this was a just absolute rough category for me because there were so many great.
Yeah.
At number 2 for me is Sonic Mania. Just because, yes, I remember. I figured I was gonna
number
get
harped
2. At, but when I get to number 1, I'll explain why in a minute. But Sonic Mania, yes, was just the most glorious. Like, I'm at my cousin's house. I was a Super Nintendo kid. The Genesis was at my cousin's house. So I was like, oh, I'm going to my cousin's to play Sonic. So like, I got super excited. And my best friend in middle school, Sega Genesis. So it was always like Sonic over there, Sonic in that place. So I looked forward to that, and it was like, yes, I get to play that. And then this came out, and it's gorgeous, a perfect throwback. And everyone knows how much
Yeah.
I love fan games, and at least fan games that stick close to the material, both mechanically and canonically. If I'm saying that word right, I hope.
Uh, Sorry, that just reminded me of, I think it's called Sonic Dreams. The really bizarre
Yeah.
Sonic fan game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about. Don't look it up. Don't Google that, kids. It's
I
bad
don't
for
intend on
you.
it because I know what it is and I'm not on board.
Yeah. So moving on.
Moving on to my gold medal for best nostalgia trip. Um, while Mario 64 was, a super great 3D platformer, and the intensity and like the craziness of the old Super Mario Brothers and 2D things, and when it came to 3D, my absolute favorite games to play those was the Crash Bandicoot games. And this
Ah.
year, you got all three of them remixed in glorious 1080p with beautiful graphics. And it really made you look at how modern gamers play these sort of games because, God, they suck at them.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I remember seeing somewhere the Crash games, the remade versions of them actually launched with slightly broken physics in some of them. Like there was a level that like people almost couldn't beat because like the way the jump arcs worked was slightly different, and it made things just a little too
There
difficult.
was, I believe, that bridge level that was one of the big ones.
Yeah, the bridge level. That was the one that people like they literally the game some tiny little difference from the original version to the new one was just enough to make game that level at least like nearly unplayable. I guess the rest of the
Yeah,
games were like pretty good. I didn't. I mean, I people enjoyed them.
words.
I never really played the Crash games, so they kind of passed me by. The re-releases as well as the originals, but fucking tell it, Johnny.
Yeah, I remember like Crash Bandicoot was one of my favorite games. Like when I got the PlayStation 1, I got it with Final Fantasy 7, so I constantly tried to look for something that was a little bit more my speed because I wasn't super into RPGs at the time. But I saw the
Yeah.
commercials and I'm like, that's gorgeous. I need to play that. Wow, everything's more angular than I remember.
Yeah.
But I remember I remember it was New Year's Eve, and their Blockbuster was doing a rent two get one rent one free sale. It, by the way, I'm mentioning Blockbuster. I am by no means old. Ignore the gray hairs in the side of my head. I found a few in my beard the other day.
Oh snap! Time to get that just for men. Comb it in.
Right. But I remember I rented Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, the first Crash Bandicoot, and Mega Man X4.
Nice.
My New Year's Eve was set. I didn't sleep that night. I played till like 5 in the morning. I was like fucking 12, 13.
Nice.
Yeah. Best nostalgia trip. I knew that was going to be one. I was like, I remember doing that. I did this. I remember doing that. Yeah, I am nostalgia, basically.
Yeah.